So good morning everyone and welcome back over to Universal Orlando Resort and welcome back to the first Central Florida theme parks to reopen in Central Florida. Yes, Universal has reopened both Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida. Today is the first day of pass holder previews. The last 2 days they were doing team member previews, but today we came on over to check out it. One, see what it's like now with social distancing, now everything's going to be in place. And secondly, just have a good time. Also, as I know, Islands of Adventure has that new coaster being built, and from what I've seen, there are some major things happening with it. So, I gotta go over to Will Call, get my stuff for the ticket to get in, and then we'll head on inside. We'll talk a little bit more about what it was like coming into City Walk, the temperature checking, and security, see what that is all like. It was a little weird, but it worked out really well, for my opinion. Well, we are officially back in a Central Florida theme park after about 2 months. Over 2 months actually, really, of no Florida theme parks open. We're back at Islands. So I did have to wait just a little longer because for the past stuff preview, you had to reserve a time. My time was for 11 and I got here kind of early because I didn't know what the lines were gonna look like getting in and out, but I am really excited to be back. I don't know how much I'm gonna do today because I just want to come out and see everything. What is it like? They are using the virtual line on the app, and originally I got here and there was some for Hagrids. Well, the Hagrids ones have disappeared again just because of how popular it is. So I'm going to keep an eye, see if I can show that, and then at one point I will sit down and I will show you what it looks like to reserve a virtual line for something. But man, we're just back at Islands of Adventure, back at Central Florida theme park. It's this first theme park to reopen in the Central Florida area. So not my normal spot, but right there's over my normal spot. But look at that. Look how much progress they've made in just a couple of months. I mean, that's track pieces going up. There's a huge, looks like spike thing going up over here. Holy crap. This thing looks amazing. Now you want to see something cool, or you want to see something the interesting thing about this? So with riding any of these rides, you see there's going to be open spots on every row. Like the whole, every other row. Every other row. The Hulk does not have virtual line for it. I don't think it's designed or it's set up to have that virtual line for it. So that's one ride doesn't have, but a couple other rides do have it, and we will go to check a lot of that out. What's actually over here in this area, it's what's called a U-Rest. So U-Rest is this area right here. It's actually right when you first enter. It's an area you can come in and you can take your mask off if you would like. Because it is going to get so hot, it is going to get hot. It gives you a chance to be able to take the mask off and it just kind of breathe a little bit easier, so that's a little bit easier. So they said there's 2 of these locations at every park, at both these parks. Here's the first one here, and when I find the second one, I'll show you that one as well. I'm still fighting with the app to see if every once in a while there's a Hagrid wait time or Hagrid times to come back, but they're not showing up, or they keep saying there's an internal error. So I think what's happening is as soon as I want to get it, someone else got it right before me. Alrighty, I was able to actually secure a Hagrid magical motorbike creature reserve time. So I won't be able to go on until 11:50. But it gives me about an hour to go from starting Marvel Superhero Landing, walk away my way around, all the way back over to Hogsmeade, and over into ride Hagrid. So I'm really excited. When I have a second and I have an area where I can kind of show it, I'm going to show you how the virtual line system will work when you want to use it. But I got to go over and I got to find a quieter spot, because this area is always very loud and stuff. So as you can see, because they are sticking to the social distancing, Spider-Man is only a 30-minute wait, but the line is all the way out because they have it set up every 6 feet. The only thing that's a little bit weird is that when the line pokes out like it is right now, they're not telling you 6 to 6 feet, but once you get into the actual line itself, it's 6 feet. They're also working on trying to limit the number of people coming in and out of the stores as well, if possible. There are no character meet and greets either as well, just like Disney won't do it either. So you won't see any of the characters out like you normally would on a normal day. So that's the only thing. And it looks like what it is that in every row, if you are by yourself, so like if I went to try to ride the Incredible Hulk today, they would give me my own row to myself. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. So that's why the line may be longer, because right now I think the line is about a 75-minute wait, but if you're a single rider, you're literally by yourself. So here's what they're doing to kind of counter the no meet and greets, is that they have characters up on a platform away from everyone. They're standing 6 feet away, but the only way you can get a picture with them is you have to wait in this line to get a picture with them. But it does mean they still have somewhat of a meet and greet, but unfortunately that means they have to be away from everyone. Alright, now just kind of walking into Toon Lagoon area. Like I said, I'm interested to see like what rides are open, because some rides are not going to be open with this first wave of reopening of the theme parks. Also, some food places will not be open either. I do not know if Comic Strip Cafe is open. It looks like it is not, because it looks like they have something blocking the main entrance. And that's just going to be something, a part of it is that you're going to have some things that are not going to be open, some things that are not going to be allowed to be able to operate at a normal pace. So that's something to kind of note. Like Betty Boop's shop is not open. However, this shop right here behind me is open. And somewhere they actually sell face mask coverings that are universal annual pass holder versions. So that's pretty cool. I don't think I'll get one just because I like what I have, and I'm also working on getting something else. So, but it's a lot more crowded than I thought it would be today, just because of everything going on. I thought there wouldn't be as many people, or they would limit the number of people coming in and out of the park. And that's just kind of my thought, but I mean, I'll have to come over here. I'm coming over to see if Popeye and Bluto's Bilge-Rad Barges is open. So it looks like Bilge-Rad Barges doesn't open until 11, so people are getting in line and ready to ride it. It'd be kind of a good thing to ride today because it is going to be very hot. Now, the only thing I am curious about are masks. Like, are you going to be allowed to take your mask off? How are you going to get, because if your mask gets wet, what are you going to do to keeping it dry? So the only things, like, those are the kind of little questions you have. But just kind of look over here, see that? That's part of the new Jurassic World coaster that they're building. Still no official name, no official word what exactly it is yet, but it's definitely going to be a coaster of some sorts. Sounds like it's going to be multi-launch as well. So it looks like Dudley Do Rides is open as well, so that's going to be kind of an interesting thing to see. It looks like that they allow you to take your mask off on this ride. That's what it kind of looks like, to be honest. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of interesting to see. So on the water rides, it looks like they're allowing you to take your mask off. Try to keep it dry so that it doesn't, like, you don't have to worry about that part of it. But now we're going to move from Toon Lagoon into the new area, well, not really a new area, but into a new area of Jurassic Park. Really, this first part is kind of like Skull Island, because it's Kong, Reign of Skull Island, is right here. And I'll be interested to see what the wait time is. And I guess when I get into this area, I'm going to try to find a spot somewhere to pull off to the side and show you a little bit of the virtual queuing, because of the fact that for some of the bigger rides, you have to do virtual queue, and I'll show you how that works. And I'll show you my virtual queue that I have for Hagrids. That's still another about 45 minutes away. So what it looks like they are doing is, so at the front of the major attractions that need the wait time, so like usually Skull Island does need it usually can hold an hour to hour and a half wait, because it is a lower wait time, or a higher wait time because of the lower capacity sometimes, and also very popular. But so what they've done is at the very front of every major attraction, and especially for Hagrids, they have these little like frames out, these like A-frame signs out here that have a QR code that you can scan, and it'll take you right to the Universal app. And what it'll do is it'll take you right to the Universal app, and it'll take you right to the ride that you're scanning for. So then you can try to see if there's any virtual waiting times for it. So like at the front at Hagrid, for the front, they had like 3 or 4 signs for Hagrid that people were gathered around them. I already had it pulled up because I was looking at it earlier. So I'm actually going to go ahead and find a spot really quick, and I'm going to show you how that works right now. Well, so then you got Jurassic Park is open, so it does show that a lot of the rides are reopened. But I think a lot of these water rides are going to be a little less capacity-wise, purely because you don't want to get people soaking wet. And I haven't seen anyone come down. I've watched a couple boats already go by, and I haven't seen anyone riding. So I don't know if anyone has ridden it, or if they just opened. Maybe like they opened some of the water parks. Let's see. Yeah, still no one in this one. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna do the same thing every other row, and only one party in every row. So if you're literally a single rider, you will be on your own. Alright, so I've gone ahead and pulled up the Universal Orlando app. It's gonna be kind of hard to see just because of the glare and everything, but as you can see, you know, right now it shows when you go to explore the park or the resort, nothing right now. But right now, because it is the pass holder day, it actually still works. So I'm gonna click on Islands of Adventure as normal. It shows me where I am, shows me which rides I'm near. But the way I always do it is I always come up to the top right, and that's where I click on that. So now you can scroll through, see the wait times are actually popping up, and you can see there are some that say, you know, 10 minutes or virtual line, or Hagrids and Harry Potter are both virtual line only. So if you want to get in line for a virtual line somewhere, all you have to do is find a ride you want to do that has a virtual wait to it. So let's go up and let's do Forbidden Journey. I'm already in line for a virtual pass. I wonder if it'll kick me out. But you'll hit reserve, and they'll ask you for one party. Right now it says no appointment times available, please check back later. And I think that's purely because I'm already in line for Hagrids, because if I go back to Hagrids, scroll down, see virtual line pass 11:50 to 12:20, so I got 30 minutes once it pops up. So it's definitely going to be a good, I'm kind of glad I got that, because I was seeing a bunch of them. There's a few that were like 11, like as soon as I walked in, like at 11, so 10 minutes from there. But that's how you'll reserve the times, and that's for some of the rides. Kind of glad that Hagrids is finally utilizing virtual line, because they teased that for a while before. I'm glad to finally see them using it. So I'm gonna go ahead and head up on this way, and you can see they've definitely done some major work on this new coaster. So you can see you can tell this could be the launching segment purely because they have it covered in a certain way. But man, they really spent a good amount of time getting a lot of this done. Still no official announcement from Universal about what it is, but we are knowing it looks like it's gonna be a multi-launch coaster, and it sounds like it's gonna be themed towards velociraptors, because the running rumor is gonna be called Velocicoaster. So that's kind of a cool thing to see. I'm really glad to see how far along it is moving along. So Jurassic Park River Adventure does not actually have a virtual line right now. It's purely a wait line, and on the app it says 35 minutes. And they are still keeping you protocol to the social distancing stuff. Well, it's actually pretty cool as you come up this way. This used to be all queue for the ride, and so then they must have finally went ahead and got rid of it, opened up this walkway, and now they've redone the Raptor Encounter, which now has an official thing that says next show starts at, and it looks pretty cool. I like the way this looks. It also looks like that Pizza Predatoria is not open as well, so that's something I said. You gotta go look on the app for what's open, because the only way you can get food is you have to order it through the app. So not only do you have to have it through the app, but you also have to connect your credit card or your whatever you use to pay with to that app, so that you can actually get food right now. So now we're gonna move out of Jurassic Park, not quite fully out of Jurassic Park, because there's gonna be a part where we're gonna see some of the new coasters they're working on. But as you can see, they have a sign that says join the virtual line on the official Universal Orlando Resort app. It's a free download. And at the return time, go to the designated attraction entrance. So when I go, I'll show you guys where I'm supposed to go. However, I still have to put you guys away because they still are very strict about that. But I am going to be staged to see, coming over this bridge to the right, because you should get a really stinking good view of this new coaster they're building. Holy crap. That is way closer to Hogsmeade than I thought it was going to be. And I like this weird double spine thing it has to it almost. Like it's going to be like it needs to be forceful. Not sure if it's going to have any inversions or not, but I mean the fact that they built that new bridge and then they're building everything over it. That's the whole reason it looks like they built the bridge, was because they needed to build all the track over the new bridge, and with the new track it was not going to fit where the old bridge was at. So that makes sense. So as you can see, we're coming up into Hogsmeade, up to Hogwarts, up to Harry Potter and Forbidden Journey. Wait time sign is turned on because this is another one that only is using the virtual line system. So you must be able to come back in your time. So like right now for me it is 11:20. I still have over 30 minutes before I can go into my designated time for Hagrids, which is at 11:50 to 12:20. So at 11:50 I can officially get in line to go on to Hagrids. I'll be interested to see how long it takes to get through the line and everything with it. But it kind of makes it a little bit better, so I don't have to stand in a 4-hour wait. And a 4-hour wait that could possibly reach all the way to the main entrance because of the new guidelines. Kind of reminiscent of when Hagrid's first opened way back in the day, because the line stretches out of Hogsmeade into the Lost Continent, and but that's only because you have to show your time for your return time for your virtual line, and then you have to then go get your locker, and then you have to stay within the 6 feet parameters that they require for you. So that's another reason. It's going to back it up. I am going to be interested to see how it is when I get in line. Like I said, I still got about 30 minutes. Yep, 30 minutes till my passes I can go on and do it. So we're going to go and try to find some areas and see if we can just take a break really quick just to get out of the heat, because it is very warm today. So as I was walking down, the virtual queue line actually, like the quote-unquote virtual queue line itself, extends all the way down to here, right where in front of the fire eaters, so where the spicy chicken is. Pretty much the end of the line is like this area right here. Now there's no one out here with a little sign like there was when the ride first opened, but yeah, it stretches all the way from the front entrance of Hagrid's all the way down to right here in front of fire eaters. So I kind of want to give a little bit of kind of a forewarning, or like what my experience was trying to get into Universal Orlando Resort today, because they have all the temperature screening and everything going on. how long did it take me, what was it like, and what was kind of the general overall consistency. And I feel like that they're gonna need more people checking temperature, because when we went up, when I finally got up to it, it was only about 6 people checking temperature, but yet the line was in the garage area, and it stretched from where you turn right to go towards the hub, like central area, and stretched all the way down, and then like double crossed itself, turned on itself like 4 or 5 times. It probably took about 15-20 minutes to get through just the temperature checking. Security wasn't too bad just because of all the normal people that would normally be there and how they have it spread out. It didn't take as long. But I would say from the time I parked my car to the time I got in that line to the time I actually got through security, about 20-25 minutes. So I would say make sure you are aware that it's going to take a little longer to get through some of these areas, purely because they have to do all these extra safety measures for everyone that's coming into the park. Because you cannot come into the park with a temperature over 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit. So just be mindful, give yourself a little bit of time. I gave myself plenty of time. I was thinking like, oh, I won't leave until a little bit later. I'm like, you know what, let me get there a little early, just make sure I actually can get in on time. And luckily I did, because I actually was able to give myself plenty of time and actually had to wait before I can get into the park itself. So one of my favorite areas to walk down is usually this back area behind the restaurant here. And I always thought that, you know, as they start working more and more on the coaster here, it was gonna get blocked off. Well, as of right now, it's still not blocked up, but I can tell you, this view is something I have missed. Just in general, theme park views are something I really, really miss, because that's, you know, for 2 months we haven't been able to go in. But as you can see, there's a lot of work been done on this side of the track, and it's got this weird double spine thing. I'm not 100% sure what that's supposed to do, but I thought they was gonna have an inversion, but it looks like there is gonna be at least an upside down section. So maybe it says that they are gonna put some inversions on this coaster, but I mean, this thing looks intense for the space it has, because it doesn't seem like it has a whole lot of space to work with, and they're kind of fitting it into a very tight, like, footprint. It's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited for it, to be honest. Okay, so I still got about 20 minutes to my Hagrids virtual line starts, and I'm probably gonna get in line about 5 minutes before it actually starts, because it looks like it's gonna take about that long to get through it. However, there is some storm clouds look like they're gonna be rolling, and that's something I was gonna be curious about is, you know, what is the weather gonna do? Because it is back to the summertime weather here in Orlando and Florida. But as we all know, during the summertime we get a lot of these random afternoon storms and showers. So I'm curious to see if this one actually holds out. I can't remember the exact, I think Universal in Islands closes at 6 p.m. today. I'm not gonna go over to Universal because I'm gonna save that for another day, probably for another trip, back when the parks are fully open. Just purely because I really want to come to Islands to try to ride Hagrids, see how the virtual line is, see what the social distancing stuff looks like, which I am very happy with the social distancing stuff. Like, so the only thing I do have a little bit of complaints against is when the lines reach out of the queues, they're not enforcing the social distancing there. And I kind of wish they kind of anticipated that, but I am glad that some of the rides do have the virtual queue. Like I said, like Hagrid's, like the Forbidden Journey. Jurassic Park River Adventure does have an option for it, and so does Fly to the Hippogriff. But once you're in one virtual line, you cannot be in another line. So if I wanted to get in line for Forbidden Journey, I would have to get rid of my Hagrid's one for Forbidden Journey, because just like waiting in regular line, you're only in one line. You can't be in multiple lines at once. And then kind of just gonna take a quick little stroll through Seuss Landing really quick to see what's going on. They do have the signs up that you probably should go wash your hands anywhere there's like a bathroom. I didn't really get a chance to see a whole lot through Hogsmeade because of all the lines. Because in Hogsmeade they have social distancing like out the wazoo, and I think it's pretty cool. But like walking through Seuss Landing, it's actually not near as busy compared to like just seeing what Hogsmeade just looked like just now. And so, kind of walking through here. Like I said, just going to see a couple other things. We're going to look at a few other things, and then we're going to come back and go back to Hagrid's and try to do my virtual line and see what it's like doing the virtual line queue, so that we can actually see how long that takes. You know, compared to like, I think the lowest I've ever waited was about an hour 15. Be interested to see. Now, if you think about it, I got in line around 11 o'clock, so I've been already waiting about 15 minutes by the time I get in, plus whatever I wait inside. But see, I'm in line, but I'm not in line, if that makes sense. Like, I am waiting, but I don't have to worry about waiting too long. But it's kind of funny coming up here to coming through Seuss Landing. The story time that they normally have, the storyteller actually is wearing a mask. And I think that's pretty cool. And the way they have it all spread out and everything is really nice. Another thing I also wanted to come over here and see was, is Green Eggs and Ham open again? Because as you know, before everything closed down, Green Eggs and Ham just randomly started reopening again, and they changed their menu completely to having like tater tots and stuff. And it looks like it is open. Now it looks like you do have to order through the app, I guess. I just want to kind of look at some of the wait times really quick. So Flight of the Hippogriffs, 20 minutes, but it does have virtual line availability. Hogwarts Express, 45 minutes. Hagrids, no wait time because you have to do the virtual line right there. Pluto's Bilge-Rat Barges, 5 minutes. Jurassic Park River Adventure, 45 minutes. Hulk, 75. Dr. Doom's 35. Spider-Man, 30. Anything that does not have a wait time next to it is only virtual line only for that ride. So I know, like I said, Jurassic Park you cannot do virtual line. What was the other one that you can do virtual line but it has a wait time? Flight of the Hippogriff was the other one, so that's kind of funny. So thought I'd check out the wait times really quick, see how busy it is and stuff. Alright, now that we have officially done our full loop of the park completely, we're going to go back up towards Hogsmeade, actually towards the Lost Continent, because that's where the end of the virtual line is, for Hagrids is. We're going to head up there, get ready to get in line for our virtual line for Hagrids, see how long it takes us to get on the ride and off the ride in that time frame. I'm still expecting probably about 30 to 45 minutes total from the time I get into that line, get my virtual line pass scanned or like looked at, and then from there I will probably be able to get in line. But I think it's still going to take a little bit of time because they're not going to fill every row. Now, before everything went down, Hagrids was running at a very high intensity pace. I was getting some really good times through everything. So maybe this proved me wrong and actually it will be really short wait. Like I said, just kind of walk back through the Lost Continent to get into line because like I said, the virtual line was all the way out to the Fire Eater Grill food spot. So like I said, it'll be interesting to see how long it takes to get through that and how long it takes to get through the actual line. I don't know if I'll be able to film like when I finally am able to put you guys in a locker, but I'll give you guys a full rundown of my experience trying to use virtual line on a Hagrids and how long it takes for Hagrids outside of that. So I'm pretty sure the whole entire queue is going to be 6 feet social distancing like it always is. And I'm pretty sure the pre-show area you're not going to be able to have as many people in because social distancing. Also noting that most rides that usually have single rider lines here at Universal currently are currently not doing the single rider line for now. Now we don't know how long it's going to be. We don't know how long it's going to last. But right now, like Hagrids, which has a single rider line, Hulk has a single rider line, a few of these other rides have single rider lines. However, are not offering the single rider line at this point in time for the time being. Don't know how long it's going to last. Alright, so trying to kill a couple more minutes before I got in this line. But what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to get in line at 11:45. My reservation doesn't technically start till 11:50, but by the time I actually get up to it, it'll be time for my virtual queue. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in line and see how long it takes me. So you guys may not see me for a little bit because I may just get everything put away and then just jump in line. Okay, a decent amount to talk about with the virtual line with Hagrids and just virtual line in general looks like. So I got in line at 11:45. I got off at 12:45. So about an hour from the time I got into the virtual queue line, went through the entire line and got on the ride, got off. Well, about an hour, about where I thought it would be. Also, it's starting to rain. Which is another thing I was curious about what's going to happen with the mask thing if your mask gets wet. So, but about an hour plus the other hour. So I waited about 2 total hours, but an hour of it was in a virtual line, waiting to come around to get in line to the virtual queue area. So that's something to kind of see. Now, something you have to keep in mind when you're in these queues, because they're 6 feet apart all the way from the beginning to the ride, do not move until the person in front of you has moved up to the next slot. A couple times me and the people in front of me got a little confused and I ended up being not in the right spot I was supposed to be. So keep that in mind. But it does make the line move a little bit faster. You don't feel as cramped. Like, it's not as claustrophobic as normal in that queue, because that queue can be very claustrophobic. But before you got on the ride, they ask how many you have. They give you a hand sanitizer, and then you must keep your mask on during the entire ride. which to me is not too bad because I kind of anticipated that was going to happen. And so then they put the group in front of me one row, and then then there's a row between me and them, and then I was in a row by myself. Again, like what they're planning on doing with everything. So, and then once we got done with the ride, they had us get up, and in every lap bars, even if they weren't used, there was a person spraying them, and then there was a person wiping them down. So there's a lot to it. Just be mindful that's how they're gonna do things. You must keep your mask on during the ride, so that's gonna make sure. That's why they would say have a very well-fitting mask. So overall, not too bad. An hour for Hagrids, even with, are you waiting an hour for 4? That's what we normally wait. That's what I normally would wait for Hagrids on a normal day. Okay, so there is weather starting to move into the area, and I can feel it starting to sprinkle. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to head back to the car. We're gonna head back to the car and do the outro and talk about the trip out here in a nutshell. How was it? What I think could be worked on? What was my pre-thoughts? We'll just kind of go from there. But I mean, we'll head out just because I don't want to get stuck in the rain because I forgot to bring an umbrella. So walking back out of Seuss Landing, I was kind of noticing, I was looking to see if the Hulk was still running, and it seemed like there was a really big gap, but it is still running even with the rain. So like I said, that's why the Hulk's probably is like, I think the last time I saw it was a 75 to 80 minute wait. But I think with some of the weather starting to move in, you're starting to get people who are going to be heading out, like me. I didn't anticipate spending the whole day here just because I just really wanted to come over to the islands, see how everything looked, kind of get an idea of how the parks are setting themselves up now, and then just kind of going from there. It looked like Hulk does have 3 trains on, just to try to like make up for the fact that, you know, sometimes the 75% of the trains can be empty, which is a downside. But it's, I mean, that's the way we can get the rides for reopen and riding rides again. I mean, I'll take it. So I'll be interested to see what it is on the first day that the parks are reopened officially on Friday. So that'll be interesting to see. Also, I just went through the gift shop here at the very end, and something pretty cool that Universal's doing, and I know Disney's going to do it at some point, but they hadn't started selling theirs yet because they hadn't gotten theirs in, is they are selling their own version of face mask. They actually have one that's a Universal Orlando pass holder one. And I think I'm probably going to get next time I come, just so I have separate ones for different occasions and stuff, and it's a little bit lighter, so it'll help with keeping the breathing stuff. So they have 3 different styles: a Universal pass holder one, a colorful rainbow one that says "Love is Universal," and then just a Universal black one. Alrighty, so now for the first time in almost 2 hours, I took my mask off. Yeah, I would say that there are some things that I'm concerned about with them reopening. There's a couple other things that I think they need to work on. I think with Hagrids, mostly because of the virtual line, I think they need to reset up the queue like they had when Hagrids first opened, and have more people out there telling people like what's going on. Now I do know today was like previews, and like it was really the first day they've had big levels of crowds of people in, because the team member days, from what I was being told, was that they were very limited. Like it was not even that, it wasn't near as many people that were here today. Now also today is the very first day that the parks are reopened. A park in Disney, you know, in Central Florida is reopened. So I give it credit where it's at. Like I said, the biggest thing is when you're in lines, make sure you wait for the person in the group in front of you to move up to the next spot. Don't move with them, don't move with the people in front of them. You have to kind of inchworm your way up. Let the person in front of you get up to the next spot, then you go up to where they were at. And also make sure you're paying attention. I noticed a lot of people, especially to Hagrids, were not paying attention. So, I mean, I think it's a good step. I really wish, and here's my honest opinion, I wish Universal had waited maybe 1 more week to open up. I know that they didn't, I know that they were able to get it approved by Orange County Mayor, by the state, but I feel like they would have done better waiting 1 more week. I do appreciate what they've done. They've got some really good stuff going on. They've got great, the procedures are really good. I just feel like the team members, some of them just didn't understand what was happening. They kind of got thrown into it without really having more time to be trained on it, if that makes sense. So, but I mean, it's not awful. I mean, for what we have to deal with now in this day and age now, it's a really good start. I do see down the line them getting really good at it, being really efficient at it, maybe readjusting lines as they go, just based on how the crowd levels are and all that stuff. Because the biggest test will be Friday on June 5th when the park's officially open to everyone. Because today and tomorrow are just pass holder previews, and then Friday is the official reopening of the resorts to everyone. So, but I mean, overall, it was a good day. I would have stayed a little longer, but it was very hot, and I was drinking a ton of water, but it's just hot. I mean, it's not because I'm wearing a mask. It's Florida in summer, so like it was 95 degrees with like 100% humidity, so it was way hotter than it had to be. Then it started raining. It actually started pouring as I was walking out of Universal. So, but with all that being said, I do head out from my finally first trip back to Islands of Adventure post-quarantine. I'll see y'all next time.